Welcome back to the EUP Sports Den, the podcast. Thanks again for joining us. Tonight we have Jimmy and Tommy Storey with us. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate being here. First thing I guess I'd like to talk about is the fact that both of you guys have played quarterback for the Pickford Panthers. Jimmy, back in 2020 or 2019, led the Panthers to a state championship. And Tommy, that's kind of your goal this year. Talk about just the differences in style between the two of you guys.
Well, I'd say we're pretty similar. I don't know if there's a lot of differences between our style, but if I had to say anything, I guess he might have been a better passer.
Okay,
But
Jimmy, what do you think?
I think we definitely have some similarities. Just running wise, not afraid to hit people. I definitely think we both like the contact. I think Tommy is better at spinning off of guys, juking guys out to where I was more just if there's a guy in front of me, I was gonna hit him, and I wasn't worried about the loss of yards. If I got my 3 yards, I was happy. To where he's looking to get a few more.
Okay. Now, and Coach Rader's style doesn't exactly allow for a huge variance in style. I mean, you're basically taking the snap and going right, left, or middle pretty much 75% of the time. Was that a fair assessment, do you think?
yeah, definitely. It's pretty much up the middle, right or left.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Yeah, that's definitely seemed to be the style that's worked best for us. We can we have options outside of that we can turn to, but that's what seems to work best for our team and our personnel. So
Okay.
yeah.
And I've talked to you guys at various points during your respective careers. Both of you guys seem to like the fact that you are the one basically in control of the game. I mean, is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I like to be in control as much as I can, but I'm not afraid to let other people have the ball either. I like to, be in charge as much as I can. I like to try to lead, but yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with that too. When our number was called, when my number was called, I was ready to run the ball and excited about it. But at the end of the day, I knew there was 7 other guys ready to get out in front of me and block, and that's what they did. And I know that's what they're doing on his team too. So at the end of the day, even if we are the ones that were getting the ball on the offense, there's 7 other guys out there that are working their tails off that might go unnoticed at times, but they're doing the work because we wouldn't be able to do that without them. So
Well, I mean, there's plenty of teams running the same offense that haven't had the same kind of success that you guys have had. So I think without those 7 other guys doing their jobs, your guys' job is a heck of a lot harder. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Jimmy, talk a little bit about what you've been doing since high school. I mean, I thought I heard a rumor that you just took the MCAT.
I did, yes, I just took the MCAT. So actually, I played college football at Albion, majored in biology, pre-med. I went on to take the MCAT. I want to go be a doctor, go to medical school. So I recently applied for this year's application cycle, kind of just waiting to hear back from schools. Just recently had an interview with a school from Mississippi. I'm waiting to hear back from some more schools, hopefully in the near future. And yeah, that's kind of my goal, just to be a physician, and I'd like to come back here and practice.
Have you ever been to Mississippi?
I have not, actually. I've watched lots of videos, talked to a lot of people about it, but I'm excited, hopefully, to get the chance here in the future.
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. It's way too hot.
Yeah.
Like,
It'll be a little different, if that's where, again, I haven't been accepted yet. It's
Sure.
just an option out there, but, wherever I have to go to fulfill that goal of mine, that's where I'm going to go. So.
just out of curiosity, what are some of the other schools that you've applied to?
I actually applied to 16 schools. I applied to most of the schools in Michigan. I applied to Michigan State, Wayne State, Oakland, and then some other schools across the U.S. as well.
Okay. So, hey, options are good.
That's right. Yes,
Options
sir.
are fantastic. So, and now you're back helping the team this year. What's that been like?
It's been great. I was really honored when Coach Rader reached out to me this summer to help out, just to be back involved with the program. And just with this group of guys, they're really talented, special group of guys, just like the team I got to play with. So I'm really excited to be able to be a part of that and be able to go back to the Dome with these guys
Sure.
and watch them experience what I got to experience. Is really special for me, and I'm excited for them.
Okay. Tommy, on the other hand, what's it been like having your older brother on the sidelines?
Well, he originally asked me before he came on the team if it was all right if he could, and I was like, why not? Having my big brother on the team too, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. So, I mean, it's really great. Like after practice and stuff, we get to hash stuff out and really go over like the game plan, and he gives me little tips and tricks, the stuff that he used to do. So it's been really helpful anyway.
Okay. So let's go back. I don't know. Let's go back a ways. Okay. So Jimmy, let's say you're 12. What does that make you, Tommy?
6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the relationship between 12-year-old Jimmy and 6-year-old Tommy. What is that like?
Lots of wrestling and lots of losing for me. So.
Well, Jimmy has been bigger than most of the guys he's gone up against. That's for sure. So.
Yeah, it was a very competitive relationship. I remember we actually, funny story. One time my dad got a flat screen TV for Christmas, and we were wrestling in the living room. He was gone to work that day, and I ended up putting Tommy's head through this flat screen TV, and we left a big hole in it, and we tried to hide it the best we could till he came home, and yeah, he wasn't too happy about that. So that was one of many stories of our. Yeah, that really sums up our relationship.
I just remember seeing wires from the back of the TV. So.
Yeah. I can imagine that must have been a big hit in the Story household.
Oh yeah, yep. We laugh about it now, not at the time.
not then, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, definitely not then.
Okay, so at what point did you guys begin to have the kind of relationship where it's not so much, okay, if I see you, I'm gonna crack you on the arm when mom's not looking, or does that still go on?
That definitely still goes on all the time.
Okay, so at what point did the relationship become more of a friendship than a, holy man, I can't believe I got to put up with this dude?
I think it's always been a friendship. We've just been two competitive people, so and that's a part of our relationship. But I think we always have each other's best interests at heart. I know, especially just playing sports around the house, and then especially just being able to help coach on the team. It's really changed to where, I watch him go through what I was able to, and I like to give him any advice that I wish I would have done or that I think could help him. So especially seeing him come up through junior high and high school, just anything that I wish I would have done, I try to mention to him to make him a better player. So.
Okay. Tommy, how does that go over?
He's completely right. I mean, everything and anything and everything he gives me advice on. It's not just football. It's school. It's sports. It's like things in the community. Literally anything I do, anything that can give me an edge on just anything. He always helps me with it. So.
Okay. It's kind of funny, I have 2 younger brothers myself, and I work with a lot of guys who have siblings that they work with or have worked with in the past, and I've literally watched 2 brothers, one's walking in and one's walking out, and they don't acknowledge each other. Like, they don't even look at each other. And I can't even imagine, like, I'd be a half hour late getting home because I'd stop and talk to my brother for that long, and he'd be late getting into work. And that kind of strikes me as the kind of relationship that you guys seem to have, which I like. I think that's really neat. So, with the state championship game coming, I promised Coach Rader we wouldn't do any bulletin board material. Talk about how exciting that is for you to be at that point right now where you're going to go get to play for one yourself.
Well, ever since my brother went and I went and watched, I've been dreaming of playing in the Dome ever since. And now that it's actually coming true, it's kind of surreal. I don't really it just doesn't seem real. And it's pretty exciting. Everybody's talking about it, the community, and it's just great.
Okay. And Jimmy, when you played, you played and you won and you got to experience that, what do you see in this team that makes you believe that, they've got a pretty decent chance?
I've been a part of some successful teams, and I think, one of the main things is they're a very close team and they're competitive. I think they're willing to do anything for each other to win. Yeah, they just have each other's back. They're not gonna let each other down.
Okay.
Very close. Yeah, I just think they're a really talented group that's close, and I think that's going to be
Okay.
one of
Tommy,
our
is that a
strengths.
fair assessment? Do you consider yourselves to be a pretty tight knit group?
Yeah, definitely. We're always talking to each other, hanging out, and we even have like a couch and a chair in our locker room, and we hang out in there and talk to each other. And uh, we got the couch and the chair because a few of our like a lot of our team like went to a volleyball game together, and on our way back we saw it on the side of the road for free. So we all picked it up, loaded it in the back of the truck, and we brought her back to the school and put her in the locker room.
I can't even imagine how much Coach Rader must have loved that.
Yeah, there was lots of love for that.
It sounds more like a college thing than a high school thing, but I like it. So, in addition to having Tommy and Jimmy here, we've also got Mom, Barb Stories here with us tonight as well. Barb, what what are the similarities and the differences that you see in the two boys as life in general, how they play football? What are your thoughts on that?
They are very similar, but yet different. And I say that like really of all three of my kids, they're very similar, but yet they're all a little bit different. Jimmy was always the everything's got to be just perfect, right on cue, follow everything the way he thinks it's exactly supposed to be. Next one, we've got Lizzie, who was a little bit right in between Jimmy and Tommy, and then Tommy's a little more carefree, easygoing, go off the fly. Those are kind of the differences, but truly they're all competitive. So Jimmy, Tommy, both very competitive, very strong, agile, want to win. They have that drive. They have that determination. That's what I see in them. That drive, that fire inside them. That they want to do the best that they can. They want to be the best at the role that they're supposed to play. So, yeah, they're just very determined, very competitive, and pretty smart individuals. So they make things happen the best that they can.
Okay. You guys agree with that assessment?
Yeah,
and remember, your mom's right here in the room.
Yeah.
She can hear you.
No, I'm definitely more carefree than my brother and my sister, but yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment. Jimmy's pretty, got to be perfect and get everything exactly how it's supposed to be. So yeah, I'd agree.
I agree.
Yeah, Jim. Well, I will tell you, Jimmy, I've told people before that you were one of the hardest people to interview that I've ever interviewed, because I remember talking to you after a couple of different games, and I would ask you, so, let's just talk about how the game went. And you would look at me and go, it was good. And I would wait, and you wouldn't say anything else. I'm like, okay, next question. Here we go. But I'm glad to see that college has loosened you up just a little bit. What you said you wanted to come back here and practice. What drives that? I mean, a lot of people, like my daughter's at Michigan State right now, and she's a freshman, and she's already vowed there will be no living anywhere north of Petoskey, and probably not even that far north. And yet here you are talking about coming back home to practice. What drives that?
Yeah, so actually, first, you say Michigan State. So one of the reasons I applied there is because they have a rural health program where your third and fourth year you can come back to the Upper Peninsula. So, but one of the reasons that I would like to come back is just my experiences. I work with Dr. Jeffrey Peterman in the Sioux. He's a family doctor.
Yep.
And I've shadowed some other physicians in Sault Ste. Marie, and I know a lot of the physicians are retiring in the area, and lots of people looking for family doctors. I had some experiences when I was younger, had to see a dermatologist, and then I had issues with my back during football, so I was kind of seeking treatment from some other doctors that I had to go all the way downstate, and I knew I wasn't the only patient having to do that, so I'd like to bring some of that access to the Upper Peninsula for people who maybe don't have the option to travel downstate, or, so that would be.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not kidding. I think every doctor in the town is retiring up here, so
Yeah.
It's really nice to hear that eventually we're going to have some fresh blood up here that actually wants to be here. So good for you, and good for us too.
Thank you.
Tommy, what are your goals after after school?
Well, I'm hoping to go to college for exercise science or kinesiology because, I mean, when people are looking for like their life jobs, they look at their hobbies and, well, my hobbies are sports.
Yep.
And there's not much else because there's not really much time for anything else. So I figured, why not make that my life? So I'm hoping to, be a personal trainer or something like that in the future. So
Okay. Now, do you also want to come back, or are you more interested in seeing what else is out there? What direction pulls you, do you feel like?
well, I'm not really against coming back here or going anywhere else. I'm just really anywhere, as long as I have a job and I like living there. Whatever's fine with me.
See, you were right, Mom.
Carefree.
One knows
Carefree.
exactly what he wants to do,
Yeah.
and the other one's still winging it.
Yep, just
So-
swinging it.
Okay. When you're not at school, when you're not playing ball, let's say you sit down and watch 20 minutes of TV. What are we watching?
Well, my mother doesn't really like that I watch this, but Family Guy. I like Family Guy. It's funny. So,
Okay. Jimmy, how about you?
I don't actually watch a lot of TV. I'm usually out in the woods, but when I'm watching TV, it's probably hunting videos.
Okay, so I have a funny story about this, Tommy, actually. When my wife and I first got married and moved in together, we were watching, or I was watching TV, and it was Family Guy. And she came in and she sat down on the couch with me, and she watched it for about maybe a minute and a half. And she got up and she said to me, are you going to keep watching this? I said, well, yeah, still 20 minutes left. And she looks down at me and she says, you're a bleeping idiot. and walked out of the room. So I understand that not everyone likes the Family Guy.
yeah.
When are you guys leaving Friday to go over?
Yeah. We're leaving Friday morning.
Team, do they have like the team hotel and everything, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we have a team hotel, and we're gonna have a pep assembly right before we leave, so that'll be pretty cool.
What time is that going to happen?
I think we're leaving at 10, so I'm sure it's right before that. I'm not positive what the exact time is, though.
Okay. All right. What are your, like, in order to win, what does Pickford have to do?
Our team has to execute like we have been all year and stay disciplined on defense. Just stick to our jobs and make sure we do that to the best of our ability. And I think we can come out with a win if we do that.
Okay. Jimmy, from a coaching standpoint, what do you feel like has to happen?
I agree. I think we need to stay disciplined. I think it's important that, we're going to the Dome, and this is a first for these guys. And I know from experience, our first time going to the Dome, it was kind of the wow effect, new environment and everything. A lot of different stuff's going on. I think it's important to block all that out and just go on and play football. You have one game left. It's a state championship. And I think it's important, they're a good team too. They're going to come out and score, and we have to know that. So,
sure.
If they score, we're going to have to just keep fighting and playing football. So
Yeah. So when Jimmy was over there playing, I'm assuming, well, obviously you were at the game. Did you get down on the sidelines, or were you in a bleacher seat?
Well, I was younger, so I was kind of all over the place, running around, trying to find the best spot to watch. So.
Okay. So even though you were pretty young, do you feel like just having been there, having seen it, that atmosphere, that level of competition, do you feel like that helps you even a little bit going into this game?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, it's very exciting, and you can get pretty lost in the crowd and the atmosphere, and just being there kind of helps navigate through that and
Sure.
what you're like, how you're feeling, because it can get you pretty pumped up and make your judgment a little weird while you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
as long as we do our thing, I think we'll be fine.
Okay. So even though I already know the answer to this question, or at least I think I know the answer, I'm going to ask it anyway. Let's say that Jimmy Storey and Tommy Storey are not the quarterback. What if they're the left guard? is the love for football still the same?
Definitely. It doesn't matter where I play as long as I'm helping the team and to lead us to victory, help lead us to victory. I'm fine with it.
Okay, Jimmy.
I 100% agree. I remember when I was talking to college coaches, they asked me, where I played. I'd say, I played quarterback, linebacker, but wherever I can play, I want to play football. I want to be a part of the team, and especially at Pickford, high school football is a totally different ball game. It's you'll have those relationships forever. This is your small hometown team, and yeah, wherever you can contribute, you're going to contribute.
Where did you end up playing in college?
I ended up playing linebacker.
Linebacker?
Yes.
Okay. And how hard was it to go back to 11-man football?
It was a little bit different. Obviously, there was a bit of a change, but I almost found it a little bit easier once I got the hang of it. I thought because you have a more spread out field with 8-man. You're a little more worried about if a guy gets beat on this side, you're gonna have to get all the way over there. It's gonna be a touchdown, because there's so much more scoring. With 11-man, I always looked at it. You got a couple more guys on your side backing you up, so just
absolutely
go play and hit.
Yeah. Now this is just an ignorant question on my part. Were they still playing? Did you play strictly 8-man, or did you?
Yes.
Okay, so they had gone to 8-man prior to you being there.
So I played 11-man. It would have been in junior high. It'd be like 6th grade.
6th grade. Okay,
Yeah.
and then I just can't remember what year they made the switch.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like it was my freshman year. I think.
Okay.
Maybe my 8th grade year.
Well, I mean, you guys were the last of the smaller schools in our area to go 8-man. I mean, and you guys were traveling 2 and 3 hours to get a game, as I recall. So,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you guys feel about? I mean, you've not really played much else, so I'm assuming the 8-man game just seems like what it is. I mean, is there a part of you that would rather play 11, or are you happy with 8?
Well, it's probably easier to get exposure if you're playing 11-man because all colleges are 11-man. But I mean, I don't dislike 8-man or like 11-man better or anything. So it's
Okay.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I agree. Exposure gets a little tough with 8-man, but it's definitely still possible. I love playing 8-man. It's really exciting, fast game, lots of scoring. I feel like people like watching 8-man, but I love playing it personally. I enjoyed playing 11-man too, but it's I just like playing football. Whether there's 5 guys, 8 guys, 11 guys,
sure.
But yeah, I really enjoyed playing 8-man.
So the one thing I will tell you is, if you're good, they'll find you. I mean, whether you're playing 11-man, 8-man, whether you're out in the middle of Wyoming playing 5-man, I mean, they know how to find talent. So if they want you, they'll come get you. That's for sure. Okay, so the Storey family itself, I mean, I can't even count the number of stories in Pickford, but you guys in particular seem like you're a pretty tight-knit group as a family. How much of a role did that play in your sports upbringing?
It played a huge role. Our whole family is competitive. Whenever we're together, we're always playing sports. We're, if it's even a card game or what, it doesn't matter. We're trying to beat each other, and so football really became a big part of everything. Our family is huge football fans. I'm a big Packer fan. He's a big Lions fan, so we're always clashing there, watching football. But definitely just growing up, I came home from practice one day. I was all frustrated because I was having trouble with open field tackling. We were doing some drills at practice, and I was really frustrated. I was just getting started with tackle football, and come home, I'm all upset. My dad said, "All right, let's go to the yard. We'll get this figured out." I'm thinking, what are we going to do out here, And so he tells me, "Put on your pads." So I put my pads on. So now what are we going to do? So he's standing there and says, "Tackle me." So what do you mean tackle you? I don't want to hurt you,
Yeah, absolutely.
He said, "Go ahead, tackle me. He ain't going to hurt me. I'm fine." So, okay. So I kind of ran up and hit him and kind of fell off. He goes, "What are you doing? Tackle me." I said, "That's it. Fine. I will tackle you." So I hit him. We fall to the ground, and it was there. That's it. That's how you got to do it. We did it, a couple more times, and it really helped. I felt a lot more confident and went back to practice, had a couple tackles the next day. And, so just little things like that, coming home frustrated with the drill or any weaknesses I thought I had in whatever sport I was in, he would always make sure to call it out, tell me what he thought I needed to do different. So
Okay,
it really helped.
So now, Tommy, when you're in that same boat, is Dad telling you to still hit him, or is he saying, Jimmy, get out here, Tommy, hit him?
No, he came out himself and he said, tackle me. I had the same expression as Jimmy. I was like, what do you mean tackle me? And I was like, he said tackle me. So I did, and he was like, what are you doing? So I said okay. So I tackled him, and the rest is history. So
okay. So you guys are competitive at pretty much everything, right? Who's better?
Between who? Us two?
You two. Yeah, who's the better football player?
I don't know. I think we both have our strengths, our strengths and weaknesses. I'd say we're just different players, in some aspects, but yeah, I don't really have an answer for that.
Well, I think Jimmy has more of he has a higher bar that he could reach than I have, just from certain, he's a lot taller, which gives him.
I was gonna say, are you saying that just because you're shorter than him?
That he was a little faster than me probably when he was in high school, and just small things like that. But besides that, I mean, we both have the same drive, and I guess that's all I have to say.
Okay, go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with that. I think he's overcome a lot more in his 4 years of playing football. He was a lot shorter, a little less developed as a freshman compared to now. To where I had my growth spurt in 8th grade, and I was about the same size through high school. So I think he really worked at it and put in a lot more time in the weight room than I did, and really, because he knew he had to make up for that, and I'd say he did a pretty good job at it. So.
Well, I tell you, you guys are, having watched both of you play, it's crazy how similar the two of you are. I mean, I realize there's a little bit of a size difference, but the style is exactly the same. The not quite sure how to word this, but when you guys take the ball, there's no hesitation. There was no hesitation from either of you. You see the hole, you hit the hole. Whatever happens after that happens. Angel Portis has I'm sure you guys have seen this by now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a carbon copy. It's the same. The picture, kid grabbing your jersey and you pulling him along, it's the exact same. She showed me when you guys played Saturday, what she showed me against Inland Lakes, and it just blew me away how, you're looking at the same thing, One thing I do want to get back to, Jimmy, this Packer fan business. There's no quicker way to get thrown out of the EUP Sports Den than to proclaim yourself to be a Packer fan. What went wrong?
Yeah, it was a hard time a couple weeks ago to be a Packer fan, but
I mean, this happened somewhere. I mean,
right? Yeah. So a lot of the stories are Packer fans. My dad's a Packer fan, so I kind of grew up a Packer fan. My dad was always watching Packer football, so
he's to blame for this.
My dad's to blame for this. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So Brett Favre fan when we started out, and
the hole just keeps getting deeper, Jimmy.
Yep. So.
But Tommy, you're on the right track.
Yeah. I wised up. So
excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Let's say we're sitting down to a meal. What do you hope Mom is putting on the table?
Ooh, I know. I really hope it's meatloaf and mashed potatoes and gravy. It's my favorite.
Okay.
It's so good.
I would have to say, I don't know. Our usual go-to is venison burgers, but she makes a really good homemade pizza. I didn't have an answer for this a couple weeks ago, and she made us a homemade pizza, and yeah, that's pretty hard to beat.
That is good stuff, isn't it?
Is.
What do you put on a pizza?
We disagree with this.
Yeah.
We just had pizza the other night,
just did this
and
the other night.
we were fighting over the table, and the waitress was waiting there, wanting to know what we had to order, and we were there for probably 10 minutes. Like, no, I don't want onions. No, I want this. I like everything on my pizza: meat, vegetables, peppers. He's a little more picky. Just
I'm
me.
strictly meats, no vegetables.
Yeah,
Can't
so.
do it.
Oh, Jimmy, you are losing this argument tonight, man. Packer fan, vegetables. What?
That's
No,
what I'm
meat
saying,
and
vegetables.
plus vegetables.
No vegetables.
Not just
Okay.
vegetables.
Well, I have a pizza sitting out in my refrigerator right now, and you will not find a vegetable on the same shelf.
There
in the
you
fridge
go.
as my
That's
pizza.
how you do it.
Yeah, I'm with that. So, you guys have. This is going to get a little touchy, so bear with me. You guys have both been one of the premier athletes in your class. I mean, obviously, there's other guys that are athletic. What do you feel like from each of your particular groups? How do you feel about your teammates, and do they match your guys' level of drive and want to and everything else? I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this, but I just want to hear you guys talk about it.
I would say definitely they match, the intensity. I mean, a few of us, most of us work out together, or when we're not working out together, we're working out by ourselves, but we always compare ourselves to each other, always try to beat each other, get stronger than each other. So we're always putting in the work trying to get the edge on each other and,
Friendly competition.
Yeah, friendly
I'm assuming?
competition. So
okay,
that's how I would sum up our team. So
okay, Jimmy, same with you guys, or?
Yes, I definitely agree. All my teammates had the same drive to win, and I didn't have a loss of confidence no matter whose number was called. When my number was called, I was ready to go, but I knew all my teammates were as well, so I was never nervous in that aspect. I knew I had all the other guys right there with me, ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that football is probably the favorite sport for both of you guys, just based on what I've seen. Basketball, a close second, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in between football and basketball. I like them both pretty well, but I know Jimmy's is definitely football or baseball probably. He likes baseball too. But.
Yeah, mine's definitely football.
Okay.
Somebody makes you mad in baseball, if they frown upon you going after them. Football, you can just hit them and they take care of that.
They do frown on that. You're right. You're right. Rules are a little different.
But I do like all sports. Yeah.
Okay.
Football.
Okay. So just to get away from football for half a second here, you've got some adjustments coming up this year. Brand new coach, probably a brand new system, I'm assuming. How have you been to any open gyms, or does Coach Rader tell you to just stay out of there until football's done?
Well, we haven't done anything during football, and our new coach is pretty good with that. He understands. But this summer we had a lot of open gyms, and we were playing together pretty much almost every day. We had shoot-arounds in the morning, and then we had open gyms at night 3 to 4 days a week.
Okay.
And so, yeah, there's definitely a new system. We're working a lot.
Well, and the coaching style, I'm sure you're aware already, is going to be way different.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve, I really like Steve. I think he was a good guy, or is a good guy. I think he's a good coach, but Tracy is definitely going to bring a different level of energy to the table. So,
oh yeah.
Do you guys feel like you're ready for that?
I hope so. I mean, he might make us run a lot or something, but
well, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But he's definitely going to help us a lot. So, I mean, I'm glad we're gonna, step up our game, and
okay.
He's in it to win, so I'm happy.
Good for you guys. Most athletes are a little bit superstitious. Do you guys have anything along those lines? Anything that always happens pregame? A certain meal, a certain little ritual? What do you guys have?
Yeah, so I don't know if I'd say that I'm superstitious, but I definitely had a set ritual before games. I know I ended up spraining my ankle. I think it was my freshman year, maybe sophomore year, and I ended up getting my ankles taped every single practicing game from there on out with Coach Rader before games. I think it kind of helped ease our nerves for the game, mine and his. We'd kind of talk about the first play, we're going to run it up the middle of the first play. Okay, coach, I'm ready to go. Let's do this,
Okay.
Get a little excited. And then, actually, when we went to the state championship, the 2 days before the practice, we went to practice at Lake State at the gym, and I walked in and I said, I'm fine, coach. I don't need my ankles taped. And, I've been taping them every single practice up to this point.
Right.
He's like, what do you mean you're not getting your ankles to? We're taping your ankles. And then, 5 years later, come back to help coach. I walk in, first thing I told him, here to get my ankles taped, coach. We laughed about it. But, yeah, that was kind of just our pregame thing, helped ease both of our nerves. I don't know, Tommy, do you?
Yeah, I do that too. I get my ankles taped before every practice and every game, and we do the same thing. But I am a little more superstitious than Jimmy. Everything has to be like, I have to do everything a certain way. Like that day on even from getting up in the morning, doing things in order, like when I brush my teeth or when I eat or how I put my clothes on.
Let's hear the game day routine.
Okay, so I get up. I shower, I get something to eat, and I get dressed, and then I brush my teeth, and then I leave.
Okay.
Yep. So it has
sounds
to be
like a
in
pretty
that
typical
order.
morning for most people.
But it has to be in that order. Like it can't be messed up, otherwise I'm all screwed up the whole day. I'm just out of my mind.
Okay.
And then I have to, before home games, I have to come home and I watch The Last Dance, which is a basketball film.
Oh yeah, I know what
Netflix.
it is.
Yep. And it gets me pumped up just for any game. Really is what I always watch it before, and then I go to the game.
How much time do you have between the time school gets out and the time you got to be back to the field?
Well, our games normally would start at 7 when they were on Friday nights, so I would have to be there by 5. So I'd have about 2 hours by the time I got home.
Okay, I didn't realize you had that much time.
Yeah.
You guys live right in town? No.
No, we live about 10 minutes out of town, 10 to 12 minutes out of town.
Stalwart.
Oh my gosh, there's a whole clan of you guys out there.
Yes, there is.
Okay, all right. You talked about the state championship. Tommy, would it mean, like, let's say you were to go out and get it, okay? Does it mean more to you just to have one of your own, or does it mean more to have one because now you guys have two?
I'd say it means more because now Jimmy can't hold that ring over my head. So yeah, now we'd be on the same level.
A typical Packer fan, right?
Yeah,
doing something
Packer
like that.
fan,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, this has been a lot of fun, you guys. I appreciate you coming by. Please like this and share it on Facebook so we can get as many eyes and ears on this as possible. That makes it easier for us to keep going and keep bringing people in here and talking sports and other fun stuff. So like it on Facebook. Tell everybody about it. Thank you again, and we'll be with you again soon.